Hi everyone, it's Darby from rejoiceandcreate.com. Thanks for stopping by today. Well, I have a fun little basket today, and that's this one. I think the shape is very unique and it's very sweet. And I was thinking of having it for a Valentine's Day favor, but I thought you could also use it for Easter basket, or a Mother's Day little treat, or a treat for a ladies' luncheon, or even a just because treat. Now this one I created with cardstock base and a pattern paper mat on it, and I'll show you how to do that. But I also used a sentiment and die set from Divinity Designs, and that's this one if you like it. DivinityDesignsLLC.com, and it's You Bless Me So. Well, I created another one, and I actually used more of a hand-drawn approach because as I was looking at it, it also kind of reminded me of a fishing creel, an old-fashioned wicker basket used to either hold your catch or hold your gear for fishing without the top, but I thought it was very cute. So I found a crosshatch pattern paper and I made it out of that. And then I matched it with a piece of plain cardstock, which I hand wrote "Best Catch Ever" on this side, and just a little pocket for holding some of your gear and tackle. And I hand cut two little fish shapes, and I put Casey, on my son's name, on one of them. So I thought that would make a really fun little, more masculine favor. And this one has two Hershey's Nuggets in them that I wrapped. But you can fit a lot of the small candies in there as well. But you can also fit a mini Tic Tacs, although it will come up to about here, as well as two mini Ghirardellis, which will also come up to about here. So they'll stick up above the basket a little bit. All right, so let me tell you what we need for this one. All right, so what we have is a piece of cardstock or heavy pattern paper that is 4 inches by 8.5. If you want to mat the front and the back, you need two pieces of paper, pattern paper, that are 1 7/8 inch wide by 1 1/4 inch tall. And then whatever embellishment that you want to add. All right, so with the 8.5 inch piece, and if you have 8 1/4 inch, that's fine too. It'll just be 1/4 inch less on the handle part as we fold it over. But go ahead and have the 8.5 inch side and score it at 3 inches and at 5 inches. Now you also want to make a mark at 3 1/4 inches and 4 3/4 inch, and that'll help us angle the front of our basket. So go ahead and flip that over and do the same thing at 3 1/4, just a little mark right on the end. If you wish to measure and use a pencil, that's fine too. So 4 3/4. Okay, so I've got my two marks. Then we'll go ahead and turn it to the 4 inch side, and we're going to score it at 1 1/2 inches and at 2 1/2 inches. All right, so let me go ahead and bring in my template. And this looks a bit confusing, but as we step through it, you'll see it's just separate steps on the same template. So the first thing that we did was we scored at 1 1/2 and 2 1/2 inch. So I have two score lines down the lengthwise that are 1 inch apart. And then we scored at the 3 and the 5 inch. And I have two score lines that are 2 inches apart on the side. So what I want to do is first thing I'm going to do is punch the little curved opening, and that's what creates this curved opening. And I used a 1 3/4 inch punch, although you can use what you have, and I'm going to line it up between this mark and this mark. You can trace it and cut it, or you can use a similar sized punch. This opening is 1 1/2 inches, so if you use a 1 1/2 inch punch, it'll be just a little bit of a deeper curve. And if you use a little bit bigger, like a 2 inch, it'll just be a little shallower curve. All right, so I'm going to line this up, and let me just show you on the template. I'm going to line it up between those two marks, and I'm going to punch it. So that's what I'll do on my, let's see, can you see it better on this side? Okay, so let me mark those so you can see those. I'm going to mark it on the underside. So there's one, and there's one, and there's one, and there's one. So I marked it on the underside so you can see it when I line it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the curve, and you can see the curve is just outside those two marks. I'm going to bring it up until I just can't see them, so it's just inside those two marks, and punch. And the same on the other side. I can see those two marks right there and there. I'm going to pull it up just so I'm right inside and I can't see them anymore. And I kind of centered that little semicircle inside those two marks. Okay, so that's what I have with that and that. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually cut from that mark to the intersecting score lines right there. So from that mark to these intersecting score lines right there. On the other side as well. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, this is my score line that's right here, and about a ½ inch or a little less, I'm going to just cut a line to make a tab all the way down. Okay, and then I'm just going to angle cut this one so it doesn't interfere when I fold it over to make the box. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing on the other one, just about maybe a ½ or 3/8 of an inch off of that score line. I'm going to cut that all the way down and then just angle it a bit. Okay, on the other side as well. Okay, so right now this is what I have. Okay, so I have the long tabs here. So the next thing I'm going to do is just make the shorter tab so it will fit inside the front of my little basket. So what I did is I just measured this up and held it against here, and I eyeballed the mark right there and cut an angle. And then cut the score line down as neat as I could along the score line, but down along the inside of the score line. Now I'm going to eyeball that one on the other side and just cut about the same, and cut down on the inside of the score line there too. Okay. So this is what I have on this side. I'm going to do the same thing for this side. Okay, so this is what I have left. The front and the back of the baskets, and the sides that make the handle, and I may have some tabs left over that won't show over the top of the basket. Alright, so let's fold any score lines we have left and we'll get ready to glue it. Okay, so I'm using a double-sided tape, and on each of these tabs I'm going to put some. And on the inside of my longer end, I'm going to put some just right at the very end. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull all those off. Okay, and now I'm going to fold the basket. So I'll just fold these up and attach them to the inside of that front or back piece. Okay, so I have my angled insides, and I think that's really adorable, and let's go ahead and do the top. But before I take the adhesive off, I'm just going to go ahead and take my bone folder and curve the end over on both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull off my tape, put any adhesive that's sticking out in, and just match up the very end with the other one. There, and isn't that very sweet? Let me go ahead and show you how I created the mat. I'm going to bring my small scoreboard up just so I can fit it on with everything else. These are the two mat pieces, and I want the hearts to go up, so I'm going to put it that way. And I'm going to mark, just like I did the other one, right at a 1/4 inch in from both sides. So 1/4 inch here, I'm going to make a mark there, and a 1/4 inch here, so I'm going to make a mark here. Now remember, this is 7/8, so you're going to be making the mark at 5/8 on the top of that one. And the same as this one. 1/4 inch on that side, 1/4 inch on this side, which is 1 5/8. All right, so now all we have to do is just measure from that bottom corner to that mark and cut it off. And then take that same circle punch and just line it up from corner to corner on the top. As you can see, I pushed it a little bit far, so you can see I have corner and a corner. I'm going to pull it back until I just have it inside those corners. And punch. Same with that one. Alright, so now I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue to glue those on my front and back of my box. And if you don't want to mat them, then go ahead and just skip this step. Alright. Now I wanted my bow to be at that right side, and I was going to cover my seam with it. Alright, and so my ribbon holds in place. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on the inside just to stick it while I apply it. Just about an inch long piece. And I'm going to stick it right underneath so that when I tie my bow, it'll tie right over that seam. And then let me go ahead and decorate my front, and I already went ahead and created a couple of little embellishments for it. A little stamp that's Be Mine, and that's from the Tailored Expression Merry Minis Holiday, just the Be Mine. And I have punched out also a little gold metallic heart. Actually, let me put this one over here. And I'm going to put this one up on a foam dot. Alright, and I went ahead and covered a couple of Hershey's Nuggets to go in there with the same paper, and that's a 1 inch by 3 or 3 1/4. But if you want to say paper by 3, and just wrap it around and tape it on the back, and I'm just going to go ahead and put those in. And I think that makes a very sweet little basket for Valentine's Day or Easter, Mother's Day, or just because. So let me bring my others back here. So I hope you like this project and give it a try. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified of new videos as I upload them. For more information on this project or others I've done, please visit rejoiceandcreate.com. And as always, until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!